Welcome to WNL Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with field hockey coach Wendy Orrison and soccer captains Connor Pierce and Kat Lawson. But first, a quick look back at the weekend in Washington in Lee athletics. The football team opened up ODAC play in emphatic fashion with a 63-0 homecoming victory over Guilford at Wilson Field. Saturday's total marked the most points scored by a WNL team in over 6 decades. Men's soccer won a thrilling 2-1 overtime decision against conference rival Randolph, while the women's team picked up wins against Southern Virginia and Sweetbriar. Volleyball improved to 17-2 with straight set victories over Virginia Wesleyan and Mary Washington, while women's cross country placed 4th in a meet at Salisbury, and the men's Harriers came in 10th at Lehigh's Paul Short Invitational. Also over the weekend, riding finished 6th at Hollins, men's golf placed 5th at Randolph-Macon's Ted Keller Invitational, and field hockey fell 4-0 to 6th-ranked Lynchburg at the WNL Turf Field. I'm joined now by field hockey head coach Wendy Orrison. Wendy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
You had a tough game against a very good Lynchburg team, but looking back earlier in the week, a 1-0 double overtime win at Shenandoah in the first ever ODAC meeting between those two schools. How big could that victory turn out to be for your team down the stretch?
It was a wonderful win because it was a double overtime, so it really showed the team that their longevity and that with endurance, just kind of keeping at it, keep picking away at a game and pulling out an overtime win. I think every coach and team likes to experience that so that you're more prepared for eventful games that come about in the future.
The Generals have scored just 2 ODAC goals in the 3 conference matches thus far. We've seen earlier in the year what the offense is capable of. What needs to happen for the WNL attack to get going once again?
Yeah, we've been modifying the front line and the midfield line a bit in a lot of the games, starting some different players, some younger players, trying folks at different positions, trying to get the scoreboard working in our favor. Do have a lot of young people playing this year, so certainly at practice we're doing a lot of shooting drills and scoring drills, working on the accuracy of our shots, working on rebounds off of a goalie's pads or off of a defender's stick. So we're aware of it. It's not an emergency at this point. We certainly don't have any one big scorer this year as we have had the last couple seasons. Just so looking for a lot of different people to continue to pick up scoring and get comfortable with it and start getting us on the boards.
How would you rate the performance of the Generals defense so far this year?
I've been very pleased with them. Kirsten Kine's back in cage, and so she and Caroline Sutherland have been splitting time on some games, and Kirsten's played some, so it's nice to have that opportunity back. We did not have that last year when Kirsten was hurt, and it's a little scary and challenging to just have one goalkeeper. So that certainly helped the defense be a little more settled and comfortable. And I've got a lot of my most depth is on my back line. Liz Dye, senior captain, Lindsay Edmonds, and Christina Benedetti, also senior captains, are all midfield or backs. So have a lot more experience in the back.
You've still got the bulk of the conference schedule in front of you, continuing with Virginia Wesleyan on the road on Friday. What kind of goals has the team set for the remainder of ODAC play?
We haven't had necessarily a goal-setting meeting, so that's a good question. I certainly know that the team, from the beginning of the season, we wanted to be first or second in the conference. So with our loss to Lynchburg and with Lynchburg's strength this year, we're, I would say, shooting for second at this point. So we need to win the rest of our ODAC games and hope that Bridgewater loses a game so that we end up second and get a bye on that first weekend of ODAC play.
Wendy, thanks for joining us. Best of luck against the Marlins on Friday.
Great. Thank you, Jeremy.
With me now is Kat Lawson, senior soccer captain from White Post, Virginia. Kat, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
WNL has conceded 1 goal in 11 matches so far this year. What's been the biggest key to the play of the defense in 2011?
Well, I think it's been very key to have so many returning players in the back, and that's just knowing how each other plays, knowing each other's style of play. And it's just made it really great too, so when a newcomer or a freshman comes in and joins our back line, we're only adjusting to that one new style of play rather than 5 or 6 that could potentially be happening. So it's been great to have that leadership and that recognition from all of us in the back and just being able to function as a unit to keep these shutouts rolling.
You talk about the experience of the defensive side. What's the dynamic like between the veterans in the back third and then the younger players up top?
It's actually been a great dynamic. I'm really pleased with the players that Coach and Suzanne recruited. I think they fit well into our team both. in their personalities as well as their playing style, and there's just motivation from all over the field. It's not just from the returning players, it's also from the first years, and it's just been a great dynamic thus far, and everyone's very committed. I'm very pleased with what's happening.
You played for Colgate your freshman season, and now you're a captain for the Generals. How pleased have you been with the decision to transfer to WNL?
I couldn't be happier. It was definitely one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. While Colgate offers a lot of opportunities for its students, I just felt very limited by the Division I program and having to do so many different things outside of just practices. So the Division III program has been excellent for me. I've gotten to become more involved in student organizations like Greek Life and Engineers Without Borders, and that's just been great. And then additionally, I couldn't be more lucky with the team that I chanced upon with Coach and Suzanne and the training staff and my teammates. It's just been great every single year I've done it, even with the rotation of players coming in and out.
The Generals take on Lynchburg on Saturday, and you go to Virginia Wesley next Wednesday. How do you prepare for two of your biggest matches of the year back-to-back?
Well, we know what it's like to win a tough match with our win against Roanoke last week. So with that in mind, and just with the level of commitment that we've shown thus far, we'll take that into practice and keep that in the back of our minds going into these two games and working hard. And then additionally, at the beginning of the season, we set the goal to win the ODAC title again this year. And knowing that it's going to be very difficult to do that if we don't win these next two games, I think will be a big motivation to push us through and come out on top in the next few weeks.
Kat, thanks for being here. Best of luck against the Hornets on Saturday.
Thank you so much.
With me now is Connor Pierce, senior soccer captain from Dallas. Connor, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
WNL started the season 1-4-1, but you've now won 3 straight entering Wednesday's game against Southern Virginia. The first match in that little streak was a 2-0 victory over Hampton-Sydney. Mm-hmm. How did that jumpstart the team?
Well, we were definitely starting off slow, which was something that we were pretty frustrated with at the beginning of our season. But I mean, there were, I think, a lot of factors to that. One of them was that we had such a strong freshman class, and we suddenly were faced with, being able to implement these players into our system, and we hadn't played with them before, but we knew they were great players, so we just kind of had to adjust with that. And so I think that's why we started off kind of slow. And I mean, when we were faced with 4 losses in a row, we just took the Hampton-Sydney game as something that we really needed to make a pivotal game. I think there was a lot of motivation there from the upperclassmen. They'd ended our season 3 times in a row, which was really, really something that we wanted to change. And that's just a long time to lose the one team in a row. So I think, not wanting to be 1-5 as opposed to 2-4, and the fact that that team is just one of our biggest rivals was why we had overwhelming motivation to turn it around.
The Generals earned a very dramatic victory at Randolph and Lynchburg on Saturday. You tied the game on a PK in the final minute and then won in extra time. What's it like to secure 3 points in that fashion?
Oh, man. That was definitely a crazy game. We weren't expecting that turnaround in the last 30 seconds. I mean, we were definitely trying as hard as we could for it the entire game, and especially in the last 20 minutes, we really pulled our act together, and we were going for it. The fact that it did end up happening in the last 30 seconds just elevated us so much, and I think it just completely deflated the other team. And so, I mean, we'll take 3 points any way we can get it, and that was definitely one of the better ways that I've ever experienced getting 3 points, because it was just so satisfying. So, yeah, great win.
You cover a lot of territory on the outside flanks for Washington and Lee. How would you describe your role within the General system?
I generally view the outside midfielder position as kind of like a alleviation to the center midfielders. So it's basically like if they're getting into trouble, they can just ditch the ball outside. And for us, that entails a lot of running. So we're just kind of up and down, up and down, up and down, and it gets really really tiring. But the thing is that we have so much depth on the outside. We've got guys like Parker Wolfinger, Huntley Johnson, Colton Klein, John Stillay, Jamie Palladino. We just have so many guys, and the thing that separates us from other teams is that we're able to just switch in and out whenever we want. I mean, you can't recycle in the first half, but in the second half especially that comes into play because we're just able to go 15 minutes and then switch out for another guy. And what makes it even better is that we're able to count on the fact that the level of play doesn't drop. We are still going at them a million miles an hour with all 6 or 7 of those guys that are constantly in the game. So yeah, Rolf has always had that principle of being unselfish, and our team, you won't even see him making a lot of subs because we'll call ourselves off and just be like, all right, I'm tired, you need to go in and take over the game. And that's a really nice feeling and atmosphere to have on a team. It's great.
You're midway through the conference season. You've got 7 points from your 5 ODAC matches. What are your expectations for the second half of league play?
Looking out into the future, I guess we need to just take one game at a time. The ODAC's going nuts right now. I mean, teams are just pulling upsets all the time. I think Bridgewater just beat Virginia Wesleyan, which raised a lot of eyebrows. But we need to take that into account and not underestimate any team that comes our way. Big game today against SVU. It doesn't matter to us that it's non-conference because it's just we need to use it as an opportunity to get above 500. If we establish a winning record today, I think that 4 games in a row is going to propel us to making a huge run in the later half of the season. Looking forward to it.
Connor, thanks for being here. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
On Friday, the riding team will compete at Randolph. Meanwhile, volleyball heads to Roanoke College for the Maroon Classic, beating Averett and Methodist on day 1 of that tournament, while field hockey travels to Virginia Wesleyan for an ODAC contest. Women's soccer plays host to 23rd-ranked Lynchburg at Wattfield at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. Also on Saturday, volleyball continues action in the Maroon Classic by taking on Southern Virginia and Ferrum, while football travels to Emory and Henry for a matchup of 4-1 teams. Field hockey will face Liberty at the turf field, and men's soccer visits Virginia Wesleyan. The women's tennis team competes in 2 tournaments this weekend. The ODAC Singles Championship will be held at Randolph-Macon, while WNL will also participate in the Hampton Roads Collegiate Invitational in Newport News. And the men's golf team will be in Suffolk on Sunday and Monday for the Virginia State Intercollegiate Tournament. For WNL Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.